Brunssen, Mr. Brunssen, Mr. Brunssen. You wanna talk business? Take it up with Mr. Brunssen. You wanna talk business? You ain't talking about nothing. You wanna talk business? Better talk to Mr. Brunssen, Mr. Brunssen, Mr. Brunssen. You wanna talk business? Take it up with Mr. Brunssen. Yeah, I'm the one rapping, I'm the one to get it cracking. If you wanna talk business, Mr. Brunssen make it happen. Yeah, he's out to pull the strings while ladies they tap dancing. And you already know what the game is, so don't even try to holler, cause he only deals with baller, shot collars, and blue collars. And if you see him conversating, he's talking about big dollars. He can get facility packed out with all of the night crawlers. If you ain't about business, then you ain't about nada. If you wanna talk business, you ain't talking about nothing. You wanna talk business, better talk to Mr. Brunssen, Mr. Brunssen, Mr. Brunssen. You wanna talk business, take it up with Mr. Brunssen. You wanna talk business, you ain't talking about nothing.
Hello, this is Dennis Brunssen. I'd like to welcome you to my new YouTube channel, The Mr. Brunssen Show. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about my musical career. Started off when I was a youngster and all the way up to what I'm doing now, what kind of projects I'm working on. I started when I was 3 years old, actually, back in Sioux City, Iowa, when my mother found me banging on some oatmeal boxes with some drumsticks. Now, a few weeks after that, I remember going down to the Salvation Army. She was working on some quilts with her friends, and I saw a snare drum, so I started banging on that. Next thing you know, I was in the Salvation Army band. So music was really part of my heart and soul from when I was a youngster. At the age of 10, I joined the elementary school orchestra when my parents bought me a trumpet. I remember it was an Olds Ambassador, brand new. It was fabulous. I love that. Then in junior high, thanks to my band director, Mr. Don Horstedt, I'd gotten into play a lot of other different instruments, mostly brass instruments, except trombone. I played the tuba in the marching band. That was tough, carrying that thing around. But bass drum, snare drum, cymbals, French horn, timpanis, and orchestra band. So I've done a little bit of everything in high school. Around, I think I was in 8th grade or 9th grade, during that summer, we had, pretty close-knit group of friends in the neighborhood up there in Sioux City. And I was walking down the street and I noticed some music, some live music being played. And I found out it was later, some friends of mine actually went to school with. I didn't even know they were in a band. They called it a combo band back then. And so I found it interesting. I didn't pay much attention to it, but a few weeks later, Merle Pitthand came up to me. He goes, "We need a bass player." I go, "Well, Danny Marr's playing bass, right?" "Well, yeah, but he's not really committed. He doesn't want to do it. So, can you get a bass guitar?" I'm like, "Gee, I don't know, Merle, man." It's like, so I went home and talked to my mom and dad. I told them I can do it. Give me a shot. I need a bass guitar and an amplifier. So a few days later, I go walking down the hill to the Pithands, and here it is. I'm ready to go. I said, "Do you know anything about playing bass?" "No, I don't know anything, but we're gonna learn. At least I'm gonna be here. I'll be for practice. I'll be committed to doing what I'm gonna do." So that was the beginning of my musical career. Back when I was, I think, about 15 years old. And after having that bass guitar for 2 weeks is when I played my first job. And the rest is history. It was a group called The Boys. We changed our name to the Bell Boys, and then the Fabulous Boys. And it was 2 sets of brothers. It was Merle Pitthand, Joe Pitthand, Randy Martin, and Mark Martin. We kept that band together for several years, and then a group on the national spotlight came out called Chicago, and we were just in love with that band. We thought, well, we've got to add a horn section at this point right now, man. I'm telling you, if we can sound like these guys, we're going to make it. So we hired a horn section. Joe Orthman, the trumpet player, he had perfect pitch. So Joel would chart out every instrument note for note. I mean, our songs were meticulously, it's like almost like the record instrumentally with the parts that he had written out. I never performed or even practiced bass sheet music before, but Joel walked me through it and we got going, and we did that. We were together for many years up until I think 1972, when we had a bus wreck on the way to Montreal, Canada, and we wrecked a U-Haul truck, flipped it 5.5 times end over end on the interstate outside of Davenport, Iowa, coming back to Sioux City. So after that point, that band broke up. We just, we were discouraged. Our equipment was smashed. We were back to zero at that point. But for many years, I mean, we had so many stories, which I'll get into in my future videos. I mean, just hilarity. We had so much fun traveling, practicing. We were all like brothers. We did everything together. After that, then I joined a band with Merle. Actually, it was called. Actually, prior to that, I had joined a band called Coakley, and then later on, it was a Lazy Day band. But if I could go back just a little bit, the board of directors were inducted into the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2001. That was our group that was the original horn band. Coakley was going to be inducted in the South Dakota Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year, but because of COVID, now we've moved the date till next year, so I'll be inducted in the South Dakota Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In addition to me being nominated for the Lifetime Achievement Award in Iowa next year, and also in 2010, I was inducted into the Arizona Nightclub Performers Hall of Fame. So those are some great honors for me, just being a nightclub performer. But after those bands, I went out west, and I've been with many different bands filling in as bass. And at one point, I said, "Well, gee, I got to be my own band leader. I got to do it." So when I was in Las Vegas, I started my own band and done a lot of different things. After that stint in Vegas, I came down to Scottsdale and had my band at a lot of different resorts out here. And somehow or another, I ended up at the Riverside Resort in Las Vegas. An agent came in and said, "You want to go over to Kauai?" So, yeah, I went over to Kauai. And as I'll get into detail in one of my other videos, it was probably the worst and best decision I'd ever made in my life as far as music goes, because I got over to Kauai, I shipped my stuff over there on an airplane, got to Honolulu, put it on a boat, got over. The contract wasn't what it was. We played there a week. I lost thousands of dollars, and I was sitting in a hotel. What am I going to do? I opened up the Yellow Pages and pointed my finger at a talent agency, Grand Talent, Mark Mishimoto, wonderful guy. Him and his mother, we just love him. And Mark goes, "Come over here on a Wednesday, and I want you to play for one night and see what Dennis thinks of you at Gussie Moore's nightclub." Well, I ended up staying about a year. And near the end of that, a gentleman, Ray Martinez from Hickam Air Force Base, came in and said, "I need a band for the holidays in Okinawa, Kadena Air Force Base. You guys up for going over there?" I said, "What?" "Yeah, my gig's ending here. We've been here a year. I think that's quite enough time to, and we'll finish it off." So went over to Okinawa for 6 weeks. Came back, and then we did some more gigs. We played quite a bit over in Galveston, New Mexico, at the Class Act nightclub. Very nice club over there. And I got a call from Ray again. He goes, "Hey, I'm sending your information to Virginia, the Department of Defense. They're going to be contacting you. They want you to do a tour." So we went to over 30 countries performing for the troops, and we just loved it. And then come back here to Arizona, fly out again, come back, fly out again. I mean, we've done so much traveling, songs. Then I came back and more touring. I mean, I think I've done more touring miles overseas actually, but city-wise, I've done more cities in the United States. So all total, overseas and the U.S. I think I counted up right now. I'm still tallying the amount, but I'm up to 563 cities. And in those cities, there was multiple performances and some long-term house jobs. So I'll have that together later on, but it's quite an extensive, amazing list. I always say, you know, most of you guys were home watching Johnny Carson or Jay Leno and doing some stuff, and I was out there probably in my first set, like in Hawaii. We started at 9:55. I got done at 10 minutes to 4 in the morning. Of course, playing Nevada, you could go up probably till 6 in the morning. And that's one bad thing about being the best band. They don't start you early, they play you late. So I guess that says one thing. We did a good job. My band Hot Shot was it was only a 4-piece act, sometimes 6, but I tell you, probably the best vocal band that I had. The harmonies were absolutely perfect, and that was the band that did a lot of the overseas touring. And that took us. After that, came back one time to Scottsdale. I was playing over at Mountain Shadows, and this is like a Monday or Tuesday. Nobody in the club. It's midnight. Nobody there. And in comes a couple. I know who it was. Greg and Paul Elias. They owned Eli's nightclub. And Greg goes, I need a band next Wednesday for St. Patrick's Day. I said, I'm leaving for Tokyo. He says, come over here, it might be worth your while. So I was off, we come over, we started on Tuesday, we dialed it in. We played for a day or two, and Greg comes up to me. He goes, leave your stuff set up. I said, why? What's the matter? I said, I want you guys to keep playing, man. This is the song list, the look, the outfits. I mean, you guys are perfect for what I'm looking for. So we started off 2 or 3 years at 6 nights a week, and then I think I was 5 years at 5 nights a week. And I'd gone through a couple, 3 or 4 different musicians, but most everybody was long-term that was with me at that point. And our song list was, I think we're probably up to about 500 songs. One time I said, all right, guys, we're going to start at the beginning of the list, A, and we're going to go down to Z, and we're going to see how many days we go. I mean, it was like days upon days. We just headed down the song list, and it was amazing. It was that group was, I'd give them the tunes for rehearsal. Like Saturday night, I'd give them a disc or a cassette, and everybody'd have their parts down. We all knew who's going to sing what harmonies, and like Monday live, we'd practice basically. There was nobody in the club, and by the weekend, we'd have like 3 or 4 new songs. So that was fabulous. So being in the music business, you ought to keep it fresh. And also what I found playing in that club for a long time, I don't care if there's 1 couple, 2 couples, whatever, you do your job. Like there's 500 people out there, because you never know who's going to be out there. And I got a story I'll tell you later on about being in Yuma when Wayne Newton's manager's girlfriend came in and ended up putting me up into Vegas producing a band. But that's a story for another time. My point is, you're performing, you do your best job, put a smile on their face. Maybe the guy had a rough day at work, he's in there with his wife or something, and they had dinner, and, you know, it's like, man, you know, just put a smile on their face, take some stress off them. That's what we do as entertainers, you know. So that was very good. What I always told my people, you never knew who's going to walk through that door. And it's happened many times to us, even on off nights. Somebody will come up there, and you know, you never know who's going to be out in the crowd, especially playing in Scottsdale, Arizona. So many celebrities would come in, baseball players, football, basketball players, the Suns. You know, I mean, I can't really name all the names, but the list is very long of people we got to know, and they came back every year. A lot of people come back on vacation every winter, and they're going to come in and see us, you know. So that was very exciting to be at Eli's in Scottsdale. But after that, then I got into some recording. I started the world's first radio show at sea. worked for Keith the Green. He bought a yacht, and that was quite the adventure. We were going to go around the world, produce a radio show on KFYI radio every Sunday, but we had a little problem. Keith got over to Hong Kong in a ferocious storm and said that was it. So that's another adventure. But as I get into these YouTube videos, I got many years of stories and different things. Boxing photographer, all sorts of stuff, and a lot of comedy, and also the young people out there, you musicians, singers. I'm going to give you some tips what to do, what not to do. Sometimes it's more important what not to do than to do. So, and I always say, the least thing you're going to do as a performer is what? Play. Most of it's practice, buy equipment, do this, getting your clothes ready, doing everything else. That's the last thing you're going to be doing the shortest amount of time is actually getting on stage and performing. So welcome to my channel, and I'll be doing one or two of these a day. I was going to write a book. That's too time consuming for me. I'd rather get online here and tell my story. So everybody, I thank you for viewing my first YouTube video. Thank you.